all so much for joining this wonderful morning program. And every Saturday we come for Mangalarti and followed by Japa Circle and of course all the other stuff. And lastly we do Bhagavad class. So all of this is actually not recommended but instructed by Srila Prabhupada for all the devotees of ISKCON to follow. So of course we all have some other worldly duties that we have to follow. So we cannot do it all the time, but this is one endeavor that we have at ISKCON Columbus, that at least every Saturday we can try. If not every Saturday, then every last Saturday of the month we do Mahamangalarti, which is today. So thank you Sugandha Mataji for coming. And many other devotees also came. So today we are going to continue our Sravanam Saturdays study of Srimad Bhagavatam, and today we are going to discuss Canto 1st, Chapter 18, which is Maharaj Pariksit cursed by a Brahmana boy, and text 36 to 40 today. So before we start, let's do a little quick Jai Radha Madhav and then Mangalachana. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We can all chant together. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. So it's 7:50. We'll discuss for about next 45 minutes, 45 minutes or so. And if you have any questions or any discussions or anything to discuss, we can do it after that. So today we are going to read text 36 to 40. Let's chant Sanskrit. Iti yuktva rosa tam raksho
Iti Uttva Roshatam Raksho
Vyasyan Rishi Balakaha
Vyasan Rishi Balaka
Kaushikiyapa Upaspriya
Kaushikiyapa Upasprisya
Vagvajram Visasarajaha.
Vagavajram Visasarjata.
The son of Rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kaushika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The circumstances under which Pariksit Maharaj was cursed were simply childish, as it appears from this verse. Sringi was showing his impudency against his playmates, who were innocent. Any sane man would have prevented him from doing such great harm to all human society by killing a king like Maharaj Pariksit. Just to make a show of acquired Brahmanical power, the inexperienced son of Brahmana committed a great mistake. So this verse actually, so let's see the context. What has happened so far? So as we know, this entire series of last few chapters is that Kali has entered. So Krishna left, Krishna departed this material world, and Kali has arrived. And when Kali arrived, he first started torturing. Who first he tortured? Bull and Mother Earth, the cow. As soon as he saw, Pariksit Maharaj heard about it, he didn't even, he was told, and he was sitting nicely in the palace, he ran to protect them. So that is, Prabhupada explains in that chapter, I think chapter 17, that what the quality of a king should be, quality of a leader. That here, we have to govern the country, and there are so many like fights are happening, so many problems, so much of chaos. But Pariksit Maharaj, even he could not tolerate somebody harming cow and the bull, right? So he ran immediately. He didn't say that, okay, send some soldiers and get it fixed. He himself was there in person. And then he chastised Kali. They also had a very intense conversation. They had that Kali was showing the reasons that why he is doing it. It's his time to arrive, and this is his quality. And Pariksit Maharaj, he first thought he would kill him, but then he realized, no, let's hear him. And then after hearing him, then he said, okay, this is what we are going to do. We are going to arrange some living arrangement for you in the kingdom, and then we move on. So Pariksit Maharaj not just abruptly took the decision of killing Kali, right? So that in those verses in Purport, Prabhupada explains exactly how a king who is supposed to be a Vaishnava who has all the qualities of a Brahmana, yeah? And actually it's the other way. A Brahmana is not a Brahmana unless he is a Vaishnava. Otherwise, it can be just a show. And we'll discuss all of that in this next 3 or 4 verses. And then, Kali spread around, and he corrupted a lot of minds. And we all hear in this society that Brahmanas are not so pure, right? Brahmanas, the quality of Brahmanas have degraded. So where did it all start? What was the beginning, the origin point of the degradation of Brahmanas? So this is the verse that we are gonna see how the first Brahmana in the entire this society got corrupted by the effects of Kali. So as we know, in I think 2 Saturdays ago we discussed that how Prabhupada explains that Pariksit Maharaj, not under the influence of Kali, but by the will of the Lord, he was acting in a certain way. So he was thirsty, and then he went to this Rishi's hut, and then Rishi was meditating. He was in trance, samadhi. And Parikshit Maharaj said, "What? I am a king, and I am not no ordinary king. I am the descendant of this Yadu dynasty. So nobody is respecting. There is no water. Nobody is welcoming, and not even welcoming. I think Ujjwal he gave the class that not even welcoming. It just says sweet words. At least that should be given to a guest. But none of them was offered to Parikshit Maharaj, and then he put a death snake around the neck of the Rishi. So that was discussed last week, right? That how he put So text 31 to 35. Yeah, these are the verses where after the dead snake was put around Rishi's neck, then his son came, and then he saw all this, and then he was furious. And then in this verse, we are seeing that how the son of Rishi's eyes red hot with anger. So imagine a Brahmana who is in trance, who is in samadhi. So that means he has reached such a advancement. Yeah, he was such an elevated person that he could go in samadhi. Has anybody seen anybody going in samadhi? No, right? So here there is this person. So it's very rare. It's not that easy. So this person has gone in samadhi, and his son is also a Brahmana. And because the father was a perfect Brahmana, so he has done the most important thing, is to train his sons. So he trained Sringi, and when Sringi was young, he had such a great qualities. So today we are seeing that how this Sringi character, so how crucial he is, because sometimes we see as family dharma, if somebody is hurting our father, right? If somebody is doing bad to our family, of course we will get angry. So here he also got angry. So it could be justified in one sense. But then, in purport, Prabhupada is explaining that curse when he was cursed, Parikshit Maharaj. So the whole circumstance was very childish, because not just he cursed Parikshit Maharaj, but also in the following verses we will see that how he ended a very happy society. The rule at that time, the entire kingdom was so spiritual, and no conflicts, and no, it was just a perfect society. Even after Krishna had left, so Parikshit Maharaj had done such a great job in ruling the kingdom. But still, this Sringi, even Sringi was under the power of Parikshit Maharaj, but still he forgot all of that, and then he cursed Parikshit Maharaj. And when he cursed, here the words are used, thunderbolt of words. Yeah. So it could have been as simple as just cursed, use some bad word. No, thunderbolt of words. So whenever, here is a very nice lesson for all of us to learn from Sringi, that whenever, of course, we all get angry. Yeah? Anybody here who never gets angry? We all get angry. But in anger, sometimes we take decisions which are just absurd, so bad, and bad not just for our relationships with others, but also for our own consciousness. So it's very important to look at the big picture all the time, and just small things, because it could become, um, they say, right, making a mole out of mountain. So if we simply in anger, just to prove my point right, if I lash my anger on others, that's not going to do any good. It won't even make my point, it won't prove my point right also, because both the parties are in conflict in mood, both the parties are in anger, and if I am showing anger and if I am using some really, really, like here it says, thunderbolt of words. Yeah, because in Kali Yuga, see here, just by thunderbolt of words, he destroyed, the entire society, Sringi. He didn't use any Brahmastra or any other weapons that were used in the war, but just by the thunderbolt of words. So that we can learn that it's not the words that we use in the anger. We should take a step back. We should think it. Maybe I am at the wrong, right? Maybe I need to improve myself. So, but not Sringi. Sringi was fired up, and here it said red hot. His eyes were red hot. So, like copper. Copper is already reddish, but when you heat copper, it becomes even like molten red. So here, imagine a small boy, a perfect Brahmana, supposed to be perfect Brahmana, is showing this quality of red hot eyes with anger. Okay, so now the most relevant verse of this chapter, because that's the name of this chapter also, that Pariksit Maharaj cursed by a Brahmana boy. So here is the curse. Text 37. Iti langita maryadam takshasha takshaka saptamehani dangshyati shma kulankaram chodito me tata duham. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus. On the seventh day of from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Maharaj Pariksit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. Purport. Mataji, would you like to read the purport? Text 37. You can make a manual speaker maybe.
Thus the beginning of the misuse of rabbinical power began, and gradually the Brahmanas in the age of Kali became devoid of both rabbinical powers and culture. The Brahmana boy considered Maharaj Pariksit to be Alankara, or the wretched of the dynasty. But factually, the Brahmana boy himself was so because only from him did the Brahmana caste become powerless, like the snake whose poison teeth are broken. The snake is fearful as long as his poison teeth are there. Otherwise, he is fearful only to children. The personality of Kali conquered the Brahmana boy first, and gradually the other castes. Thus, the whole scientific system of the orders of society in this age has assumed the form of a vitiated caste system, which is now being uprooted by another class of men, similarly influenced by the age of Kali. One should see to the root cause of vitiation and not try to condemn the system as it is, without knowledge of its scientific value.
So, here is where it all began. The downfall of Brahmanas, and of course, this is also the most glorious because of this, Srimad Bhagavatam had to appear. So, Kulankara, the wretched of the dynasty. So, who here is Kulangara? Pariksit Maharaj or Sringi?
Prabhupada is saying Sringi.
Sringi. Yeah, but the Brahmana boy, Sringi is thinking, no, Pariksit Maharaj is Kulangara. But here we can see, actually Pariksit Maharaj, he has some incredible qualities that not even Brahmanas have. So we can see, of course, because of his ancestors, because all of his ancestors have shown some immense tolerance to all the misdeeds were done to them. They tolerated so much, and even after that, they had so much compassion for all of them who tortured them, right? And Yudhishthir Maharaj. So in many circumstances, even though he knew that something is wrong, but still he would forgive them, and sometimes he would even take sides with them. And Hare Krishna. So all of these qualities have appeared in Pariksit Maharaj also, and not just that, because of personal association of Krishna in the womb of Mother Uttara when he was attacked by Ashwatthama. Brahmastra was sent to kill him, and then Krishna personally protected him. So imagine if somebody comes in touch with Krishna, how pure, how, first of all, how fortunate, and then how pure that person can be. Of course, even Kamsa and other also came in touch with Krishna, but their consciousness, their intentions were wrong. They were different. So here, Pariksit Maharaj is the best of the dynasty, but the Sringi is the Kulangara, the wretched of the dynasty. And you can also see in Pariksit Maharaj's life, he showed those qualities, right? Compassion. So when Kaliyara, we just discussed, he had compassion. He didn't just kill him. He had compassion, and then he said, okay, I'll give you some space in my kingdom. So that is the point. Can we do that? Is it possible for us to be compassionate all the time? Us to be not in anger or acting in speculation or so many times we have this, so many misunderstandings. Small misunderstandings can develop into grudges. With devotees, we say how special the devotees are, right? Every person who enters the temple, every person who is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that we should worship them. We should not, they are not ordinary people. If somebody chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they are not ordinary people, right? So then somebody asked that, but anybody who will chant Hare Krishna, how can we worship them? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes the criteria more stronger. But at least the baseline is given that whoever is coming to the temple, whoever is very favorable, whoever is chanting, they should be treated as if they are representative of Krishna himself. But do we do that? That is the question. It's very, very hard because we all are also conditioned souls. And we are sadhakas, we are bhaktas, we are trying to become sadhus. We are not sadhus. Sometimes we say, everybody is coming and saying, sadhu, 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 wow, what a sadhu. But we are sadhakas. Yeah, we are not sadhus. We are still conditioned. Unless somebody can say, no. And whoever is also perfected, not conditioned, they also don't say that they are uttamadhikaris. Yeah? So, but we are conditioned souls and we have all this quality, the great qualities like envious, anger, lust, greed, revengefulness. Like if somebody, do you remember the day when we first got introduced to Krishna consciousness? How much humility we had. Every time we say, Haribol Prabhu, how can we serve you? How can we serve you? Yes, please go do the mopping and sweeping. And we do, yes. Salam, yes sir. Yeah. And then after a year or so, now I'm chanting 60 nams. What? Sweeping and mopping? No, I have to give Bhagavatam class. So all our Hare Krishna, welcome. So we met at OSU Involvement Fair, right? We met at the Involvement Fair area. So please welcome. We are just having a little bit of discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. And after that we'll have breakfast. But if you have to go, you can take darshan, take breakfast and you can.
Okay, you're recording there. I have the same application.
Absolutely, yes. So yeah, our days, the beginning days, and then after a year, imagine what happens after 10 years. Yeah, now I'm so and so. All the qualities of the leaders are now showing up. Yeah, quality of the leader in Kali Yuga, not quality of leader, in our Vedic way. But it is very easy. It is very easy to become puffed up because that is the whole reason why we are here in first place. That we don't want to serve Krishna. We want to be served. So whatever can facilitate our desires, so we say yes, this is correct. Yeah. So that's why we are called sadhakas. We are not sadhus. We are all conditioned souls, but we are trying to improve. Yeah. But whenever the anger, takes over, whenever the symptoms of Kali Yuga takes over, we don't try to improve. We try to prove our points. Yeah, that I am the right one. Agree, right? But how amazing it was when we first got introduced, and when we were so new, everything was so nice and beautiful. Rainbows were showing every day in the temple, and Krishna would personally come when we are chanting. But after some time, now our mind is not. Krishna is not coming only. Where is Krishna? We don't see Krishna in even the holy name, who is not different from Krishna. But it's very important that from these, verses that we can learn that what not to become, and always try to stay humble. Humility is the only thing that can please Krishna. So yeah. So that is Alankara point. So after that, I think. So Prabhupada says, thus the beginning of the misuse of Brahmanical power began. So here is the first Brahmana whose qualities were lost, degraded. And what are the qualities of a Brahmana?
That's sadhu. How does it start?
Samadama tapa saucham.
Samadama tapa saucham. Shantirajo me vacha jnana jnanam sishtam. Brahma karma swabhavajam.
So yes, being compassionate and being tolerant, peaceful, cleanliness, merciful, and also wise. Not just simply externally clean and completely haribol, nice tilak and everything, but internally wisdom. So wisdom so important. But in this context, it's shanti. Yeah. So shanti means tolerance. We need to tolerate. Sometimes it's okay if we respond in an intolerant way, but most of the times it is best if we tolerate. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says so. Vinadapi sunichena tarorapi sanishtana amanina manina kirtaniya sadahari. So be tolerant as the blade of grass. Grass, what is the value of grass? Everybody is spitting on it, everybody is walking on it, kids are just pulling them off, nothing. Yeah, but still simply serving. So that is the quality that every Brahmana should have. But if somebody misuses that power, Brahmana, he was such a nice, just see here, he cursed and the curse cannot be reverted. So he was a very, very powerful Brahmana. He was no ordinary guy. So he misused. But as soon as somebody misuses the power goes away. It will not last. And same thing for us. All the qualities that we have, Krishna has been so kind to us that he has given all these qualities that we can read, we can speak, we can use our intelligence and serve Krishna in certain way in our best ability. Somebody serves in the kitchen, somebody serves in altar, somebody serves in distributing books. Not that services. Baba. Why you are always going after book distribution? Do some seva in the temple, or vice versa. you are always, serving in the altar. Why don't you do some book? Every service is important. And all these services are done. Why? Because Krishna has given us the ability. And if we misuse those abilities, the skills, the knowledge, the intelligence, if we misuse them, as the day we become puffed up, that nobody can, of course nobody says this, it's all inside. And that is also Krishna consciousness. It's not the external, it's the internals. Right? Externally I may be showing off very nicely pure devotee. But internally I only know what are the anarthas that I have. So this is also an anartha, right? That if I say, no, I am doing such a nice service than this person, or this person is not doing it properly, that is also anartha. Sometimes you just say anartha means lust, greed, anger, but this finding faults is also an anartha. So all of that is lost if somebody misuses the power. And here for Sringi, the same thing happened. Because of his anger, he cursed Pariksit Maharaj, and then that was the end of all Brahminical culture in our society. Imagine just one wrong, decision, and ruins the entire. So same thing for us. After many, many, many lifetimes, we have come in this path of bhakti, in the path of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we should be very, very careful how we speak, how we behave, how we act, how we think, because one mistake, not just our descendants' life will be ruined, even our spiritual life will be ruined, so much so that we may have to take another million births to come to this stage. Right? One wrong foot and gone. So Sringi is such a great teacher, yeah? He is teaching us so much. So Brahmana in Kali Yuga. Yeah, so of course we all know that nobody is born as a Brahmana, and especially in India, this is a very prominent thing. That you take birth in a Brahmana family, you also get a thread for free, yeah, without any qualifications. But no, Brahmana, if one wants to become a Brahmana, and one should become a Brahmana, not just one should. One has to become qualified. Only then one can become Brahmana. So, yes. By birth, everybody is a Shudra in Kali Yuga. So only by qualification. By showing the qualities of a Brahmana, one can be qualified to become a Brahmana. But in our history, we see so many Brahmanas who were born in such a low class background, a very low birth. You guys will be surprised. So I did some little bit of research, and I found some Brahmanas who were not, who had not taken birth in a very nice family, or very opulent family, or a very favorable family. No. So Kaushika Muni, he was born from a kusha grass. Yeah. We might sometimes think, what? How can a Muni take birth? But this is all transcendental. Then Jambuka Muni, he was born from a jackal. That's why he is called Jambuki Jambuka. So because Jambuka means a jackal, so he is born from jackal, so his name is Jambuka. Valmiki. So Valmiki was the author of, Valmiki? Ramayana, the great epic Ramayana. He was born from an ant hill. Yeah. Then Vyasadeva, our own Vyasadeva, who compiled entire scripture. Yeah, he was literal incarnation of Krishna. He is our savior, and he was born from the daughter of a fisherman. Yeah, not a very high-fi family, right? Satyavati. Yeah. So he was born from a fisherman. What qualification does he have to become a Brahmana? But no, he is the one of the greatest Brahmanas in our history. Gautam Muni was born from a hare, a rabbit. Then Vasishtha Maharishi, he was born from, anybody knows? Vasishtha Muni, he was born from the prostitute, heavenly prostitute, Urvashi. Yeah. So now we don't have any excuses that I didn't have the proper background, or I was not given this facility in the world, so that's why I am like this. What can I do? See, we have the examples.
Even Haridas Thakur
Yes.
was born from Malicha.
Right, from Malicha's family, Haridas Thakur. Well, and now he is Namacharya. So, of course, so all these examples are there to teach us that yes, it's the qualities, and these qualities are divine qualities. They are no ordinary qualities. But if we take them as just like material qualities, cleanliness, so what? I can be just clean and now I'm a Brahmana. Or peacefulness or compassion. Yeah, all these are, if we think that these are the material qualities, then they will come and go. But if we think that no, these are transcendental, as soon as we say transcendental, that means it is supposed to be used in favorable way in Krishna consciousness, or it is directly connecting us to Krishna. Then it will last, and then we'll have value for it. Otherwise, it's very easy to take things for granted. So that's why Brahmanas are there, right? So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Above this four varna is who? A Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is above Brahmanas. And in fact, I got a quote from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says that devotees in ISKCON should become so pure that others go back to Godhead without their knowledge. Yeah? The devotees of ISKCON should be so pure. They have such a high standards and in their spiritual life that others go back to Godhead without their knowledge. So who can do that? Only a pure devotee, an Uttamadhikari. Right? We say Kanishtadhikari means the one who chants one time is Kanishtadhikari. But Madhyamadhikari is who chants constantly, 24/7, 365. And Uttamadhikari?
One who makes others chant.
Yeah, others start chanting just by looking at this person. So that is what Prabhupada wanted all the devotees of ISKCON to become so much so that others can be liberated just by looking at you. I was thinking I was at least, maybe I'm Madhyamadhikari because initiated and whatnot.
According to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are all Kanishta.
It's all Kanishta, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if one says, no, thinks that, oh no, I'm going to chant 24/7, 365, not just 24/7 for 3 months, 365 for the entire life, that's Madhyamadhika, very high standard. And this is what we, at least we can, aspire. But then Uttamadhikari, imagine. Srila Prabhupada, when he was just chanting in New York, others started chanting. He didn't have any fancy instruments, just kartals, that's it. And small mridanga. But that also he was not playing. Only kartals he was playing. And then people started chanting. He just opened his eyes and then people were like, it is there, right? So people were like, dancing and chanting along with him. So even Haridas Thakur, the prostitute came and he said, no, you just sit. Let me finish my rounds and then I will fulfill your desires. She started chanting. So at least I don't know how far we have to go, but at least we can inspire others to chant by our words. We can just say, why don't you chant Hare Krishna? That is a good start, right? So, it is very, very a fortunate place to be, to be a Vaishnava. In fact, I found another verse that, this is in Padma Purana. So, one who is related to Vishnu through devotion is known as Vaishnava. A genuine Vaishnava is superior to all the Varnas and is best of all. So this is already there, Shastric. Then there is another verse. Now, even in Vaishnavas also, sometimes we say, no, but I am also Vaishnava, you are Vaishnava, so we are all equal. But no, there is, again in Padma Purana, this is very nice verse. Sarva Vedanta Vichit Kotya. Vishnu Bhakto Vishishyate. So he says, out of millions and millions of those Vedantas, those Brahmanas, who are very good in Vedas, so out of all of them, one Vishnu Bhakta is superior. Out of millions of Brahmanas, one Vishnu Bhakta is superior. Then, Vaishnavanam Sahasredya Ekanti Eko Vishishyate. Out of all the worshippers of Vishnu, one Krishna Bhakta is superior. Ekanti Eko, Vishishyate. So one Krishna Bhakta is superior. So it is First of all, it is so rare to get human body. Then it is so rare to come in contact with devotees. And after that, it is a rarest to take up this process and start our journey, go back to Godhead. So, of course, all of this I'm telling to myself also. So it is we should not take these things for granted. We are very fortunate that we are here in this ISKCON Columbus Center in front of Sri Sri Radha Vrindavan Natbar, Srila Prabhupada, Gaurnitai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, and all these Vaishnavas, who are constantly serving. So we should take, because, I'll just tell one practical example. Yeah, just this morning we visited our very dear friend Pariksit Prabhu's mother. So she is, any time she could leave her body, any minute. It is like in such last stage. So I was just thinking this morning that how fortunate she is that all the devotees are coming and they are chanting for her, they are praying for her. I don't know if that will happen for me. Yeah, it may not happen. What if my situation changes? I go to some other place, and now all the devotee congregation is not so close to me, and I am somewhere dying in the corner. My wife is gone, kids are gone, I am alone. What will happen then? So this is the day, this is the time. Let me chant and let me pray that Krishna, please accept these rounds, now whatever it may be, but please help me at the last breath of my life. I don't know who will come, who will not come. Yeah, so Mataji was doing these hand gestures today. So I was so scared. What will happen to me? Or what will happen to us? Yeah, we don't know how our last moment will come. That is the worst part of this life. We don't know. It could be any minute. Sitting here, get heart attack, gone. Who knows? Yeah, or in a car accident. It's so easy. This Kali Yuga, this material world is such a horrible place. The death can come anytime. Life can be gone anytime. Yeah. What is that? But there is a song, right? That like a lotus petal, the water on the top of lotus petal. Yeah. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala. So life can be gone in a fraction of seconds. We won't even know. I was seeing, what was it? That, I don't know if you guys heard, there was a submarine that went in the ocean just recently and it got lost and then people died. 5 people to see the Titanic Ocean Blue project. So, they like mini submarine, they went. Have you heard about that? Mini submarine, they went, 5 people went, 5 billionaires. They're like, we are going to explore Titanic, we are going to see Titanic. And because there was some malfunction in the submarine, it got crushed under the pressure of the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. So the scientists were telling, don't worry, to the family, they were telling, don't worry. They didn't have a very painful death. Because the pressure was so high, it would have taken them 0.6 seconds to finish. 0.6 seconds. So before they even blink their eye, they're dead. Do they have time to think, Krishna, please save me? They don't even have time. So that is the situation in this life, in this material life. So yeah, we should take this very seriously. Not to make offenses. Be as humble as possible. If everybody we should see as our seniors. If somebody says, do this, just do it. Don't question. Don't let your ego come in between you and Krishna. Just listen, just do. Be a humble servant. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says again and again and again and again, be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So what is the question now? Why do we want to be the masters? Right? But many times no. Some devotee told me something, Prabhu, you are not doing this. Okay, tomorrow I'm not going to the temple. Yeah. I'm going to change my city. I'm going to move out. I'm not feeling happy. People are not treating me nicely here. No, Prabhu, I'm not saying that you are changing because of that. I'm just saying because a lot of the times that happens. Yeah, somebody said this management is not so nice. I'm changing temple. There also they will find that this management is not so nice. This community is not so nice. I'm changing. They'll keep changing. They forget the fault is not with them. Fault is within us. So, anyway, any thoughts? Any?
I agree to this.
Thank you, Prabhupada. So yeah, we are just here to remind ourselves that to take this very, very seriously. This is no joke. This is just one life. We use this life to go back home, back to Godhead. Because that's what even Patri Prabhu was telling, right, the other day, that Prabhupada said, just give one life. What is there? We have given so many lives to material sense gratification. Just give one life to Krishna. It's not a big deal. Okay, so you have anything, Madhaji? Sure. Okay. We'll read. Text 38. Let's read translation. And so now, after the curse was given, thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief, he cried very loudly. The boy was not happy because he committed a great mistake. You want to read too?
The boy was not happy because he committed a great mistake and he wanted to be relieved of the burden of his hurt by crying. So after entering the hermitage and seeing his father in that condition, he cried loudly so that he might be relieved. But it was too late. The father regretted the whole incident.
It was too late. Yeah. So the shots are fired. Yeah, it is said, the arrow shot from a bow and the words coming out of your mouth will never go back. So it's again, before it's too late. Yeah, it's something that we can again learn from Sringi, that let's not make blunders in a way that we regret it later. Right? Here he made such a big blunder that the entire culture is now jeopardized. So again, it's in our nature because we have these 4 defects. So it's very easy to start judging, to start assuming things about others, and then using the words in such a way that destroys our bhakti, destroys our devotional life. So I was hearing this small video from His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu, that what assume means? Assume.
Making an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, ASSUME. So stop making an ass out of you and me. So it's not a good thing ever to speculate things. So easy, right? It's so common. It's so like assuming things. It's not even that somebody said, I'm not coming to the temple. Oh, maybe somebody did something wrong, or maybe he is not happy or she is not happy. Assuming. But no, that person might be sick or something, whatever. Somebody doesn't come for the programs, say, oh, nobody is serious in Krishna consciousness. No, somebody is genuinely going through some situation. So never judge, never come to conclusion. And at the end of the day, Krishna consciousness is, first we liberate ourselves, then we worry about others. Yeah? Bharata Bhumila Hoilo,
Manusya
Manusya
Janam
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 Janam Sarthak Kare Karo Paromkar. First you liberate yourself. First we work on ourselves. We save ourselves, then we can save others. So before it's too late, it's very important to not commit any act that makes us regret later. Text 39. You want to read the translation? You want to read the book?
O Brahmanas, the rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck.
Now the samadhi, the sadhu has awakened, and now he is seeing the situation. And now we'll see how a saintly person, a pure devotee, or a very advanced, exalted person behaves in this situation. Yeah. So this last verse of the day. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. The father did not take the dead snake on his neck very seriously. He simply threw it away. Actually, there was nothing seriously wrong in Maharaj Parikshit's act. But the foolish son took it very seriously, and being influenced by Kali, he cursed the king and thus ended a chapter of a happy history. So happy history, as we discussed, that under the rule of King Parikshit, life was sublime. Everybody was spiritual, no conflicts and no fights, nothing. All the citizens are very happily practicing Krishna consciousness. But because of this one Brahmana boy, Prabhupada says that ended a chapter of happy history. But here, couple of points. So one is the rishi, he woke up from his samadhi. Samadhi, like I was saying, that you are in such a trance and you reach such a platform where all these dualities don't matter for you. Happiness, sadness, cold or hot, respect or insult, you are above and beyond of all these material emotions. So he was in great position, exalted position. So it is such a powerful state that when we are in that state, the bhakti becomes very tasty. Yes, it becomes very sweet when we are also in that state. And if we are not in that state, bhakti is so sweet, but it feels bitter. Some problem, other problem, this person, that person, this service, that service. We are always thinking that how can I escape this? How can I don't know if maybe I'm just talking about myself, but maybe you all can also relate.
Bhakti did this one Maharaj during the last stages. He was in Samadhi. So at that time he asked to have just a few people around him. Varnaswami was one. But in Nirjal Bhajan is what he wants to.
Nirjal Bhajan?
Yes. So during that time he let go. Well, he always let go. At that time is highest platform. So for a few days he was in Samadhi.
Yeah, I mean that's the position of pure devotees.
Even God Govind Maharaj went into Samadhi for a few months. He was unconscious.
God Govind Maharaj also, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj also. I mean, this is speculation, no Shastric reference, but all these devotees as disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are all in samadhis. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they are always preaching.
Actually, Prabhupada writes that in Bhagavad Gita.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What does he say?
Because he's always thinking about what can I do for Krishna.
Okay.
Sometimes he goes to the market to get some vegetables for Krishna. Sometimes he's cooking for Krishna, cleaning for Krishna. It's samadhi.
Okay, so it's Shastric.
Yeah, that's right.
So all these great disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are all in samadhis, because samadhi doesn't just mean that you are sitting straight, on the tiger skin, wearing deer skin, and then not drinking, not eating. It's always that how this person is always engaged in thinking of Krishna. So
It's an elevation of consciousness.
Of consciousness, elevation of consciousness. Thank you.
High platform.
Right. So that is the state that we all want to be. If not for all the time, at least let's try to be in that state for 2 hours every day when we are chanting our japa. So that, and here another interesting thing is that Prabhupada is saying, actually there was nothing seriously wrong in Maharaj Parikshit's act. Surprising, isn't it? Parikshit Maharaj, a king, a Vaishnava king, descendant of Yadu dynasty, the grandson of the Pandavas. He is putting a snake on a rishi's neck. While Prabhupada is saying that this is not seriously wrong. There is nothing seriously wrong. Why Prabhupada is saying that? Anybody wanna say why Prabhupada is saying it's not wrong?
Because the Rishi's consciousness is far beyond what the sun did, and he didn't take it That's
But Rishi is good, but here Prabhupada is saying that whatever Pariksit Maharaj did, putting the snake, that is also not wrong. Nothing wrong with it. Why is that?
He did not really cause harm for it to.
Because
But it's an
just
insult.
from-
Imagine in Bhagavatam class or Sunday feast, instead of garland, I'll put that snake. It's an insult, right?
Because this was acting, he was acting under Yoga Maya.
He was acting in the
Yes.
Yogamaya.
Yeah, because Krishna is a bigger planet.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Prabhupada also says a king has no faults. A king can do no wrong. These are Prabhupada's words. So he was referring to Pariksit Maharaj, and also he gives a very nice example that if something, if a great, exalted, high, very highly devotional and a worshipable person, if that person commits a mistake, that mistake should be forgiven. And he gives an example. What example does he give? A doctor operating, a patient. If the patient dies, the doctor is not put behind the bars. What can the doctor do? Doctor tried his best, but even if by mistake the patient dies, still doctor maximum what can do is just take the license away for a few months. I mean nowadays, but before it was not even that. So a doctor's position is like, because he's doing good to the society, he's doing good, but if some misjudgment happens, no, he should be forgiven, he or she. So he's giving this example, Prabhupada. And it is a fact, you cannot do anything. I also had a dental surgery few years ago, and this dentist put a little iron file inside my tooth and then left it inside. It broke, and she filled it up, and then I went to another dentist and did some x-ray, and then there is this thing showing. I'm like, I don't know what this is. What can I do? What can I do? There is nothing I can do. Nowadays it's all that I'll sue this person, sue that person, but still, when it comes to doctors or soldiers and all this, they always get the benefit of doubt. So if somebody is doing good for the society, sometimes if they commit mistakes, they should be forgiven. So that's why Prabhupada is saying that there is nothing seriously wrong with Pariksit Maharaj's act. So of course, in our history also, a lot of people have made mistakes, and there is a side where his people around him got so agitated, so angry, but that person was unaffected, and also they didn't take things seriously. So a couple of examples that I can think of, and maybe you can add. One is Daksha went to see Shiva, and Shiva didn't get up. He was also in trance, he was in samadhi, he was thinking of Krishna. So he didn't get up. So Daksha got so angry. But Shiva didn't get agitated. Shiva is like, why is Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu? So he didn't get agitated. But Daksha, on the other hand, made a mole out of mountain. Yeah. Then secondly, Indra, right? Indra also. So what? Some people didn't worship me. Some people didn't offer anything to me. That's okay. But no, because of his pride, he went on a war with Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And not just that, even worse, he attacked the Vrajavasis, the residents of Vrindavan. So that is what happens, when you make mole out of the mountain.
Mountain out of a molehill.
Mountain. Right.
Another example is in Mahai talking Lord Nityananda, and Lord Chaitanya found out about it, and that's of course Vaishnava. But Lord Nityananda pleaded with the Lord that it's fine, which then the Lord, forgave.
Yeah.
But it's the same as in whoever the act is being committed against. Depending on their reaction, then it's like a snowball effect.
Right. Cycle.
So in this case, though, the Lord had every reason But that's how also with Vaishnav Upper, like you were mentioning, you may not take it seriously. You may not think that, someone's act, someone's words, is affecting them in such a way where the Lord takes that seriously. So that's why always being in a forgiving mentality, because the Lord takes it seriously. That's another example I could think of.
Beautiful, thank you.
I was also thinking of Durvasa Muni when he got offended with Ambarish Maharaj,
Right.
just taking a little water. And Durvasa Muni has many times. One time Indra put a garland on his elephant, the garland that Durvasa Muni gave, and the elephant threw it and
Oh yeah, and then he
cursed Indra.
right.
Then he got, demons overpowered.
Small thing, such a small thing, right?
Because sometimes the mind is in such a flight mode all the time, and so it's always reaction.
Because it's pride. We think that somebody else has, been disrespectful to us.
Right.
The bigger pride we have, more we get offended.
Yeah, excellent. That's the cause of fall down, right? The pride and this envious nature. But yeah, the great Sringi is teaching us to not fall in that trap of Maya or in the trap of Kali. So any questions or any other reflections or thoughts? Shivendra Prabhu?
No, I agree to this.
Something though you must disagree.
No, I agree.
Dharma Shastra says we have to agree. It knows much more than we do.
Yeah.
One statement Prabhupada writes, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, one's greatness has to be estimated by the ability to tolerate a provoking situation. Tests come in our life where, we are being put into a provoking situation. Somebody is criticizing us. I think that's the time where we have to think, oh, Krishna is watching me, how I'm responding. This is a test from Krishna. And let me respond like a pure devotee does. Like, I'm not a pure devotee, but like we are hearing this Shamik Rishi, how he would respond. Right? How Pariksit Maharaj responded when he heard the curse from Sringi. He never cursed him back, he had the powers to curse him back. Same with how Lord Shiva responded with Daksha criticizing him. So now is the time to implement what we have been hearing for so long. We keep on hearing, but that time comes and Krishna sees, and that's a test. And if we pass that test, then we get more advanced and go one step higher in our realization. Krishna gives more mercy to us. So yeah, respond, not react. That's intelligence. And then we can also talk with our other devotee friends that this is what is bothering my heart, and the devotee friends will guide us properly. And they will quote shastras, they will give examples, and they will put our mindset back to normal. And then, otherwise if we hold grudges against someone, then our chanting is impacted. So that's why Pranadapi Sunichana verse is the most important verse, because somebody may have criticized us and we would have felt it in our heart. And then while chanting, we would be thinking, why this person said this to me, let me do this to him. So it bothers us, and then our chanting is not focused on Krishna. So that's why humility is the key. When we are insignificant, who are we? And that person also being merciful and compassionate, that like everybody would have their time of death, right? They will die. And why hold grudge against each other in so short of a time, time that we have? Be friendly and kind, and if they are envious towards us, just maintain a distance so that we are not bothered from them.
There's also the element of expectations. So sometimes we may expect a devotee, to do some service. We may not know their capability to do that service, but because they may not be able to do that, and then we become offensive. And also sometimes reactions, it's based on expectations.
Right.
It may not always be verbal expectations, just thinking about it also, that is the snowball effect. So
Because whatever goes inside will eventually come outside.
it does come out.
Yeah.
It does
Jai. Thank you.
Wonderful class. Thank you.
Yeah, this was nice. I wanted to read that statement of Samadhi.
Yeah, from Bhagavad
So it's
Gita.
in Bhagavad Gita 12.2 purport. Prabhupada is saying a pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna, sometimes he cooks prasadam or goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is in full samadhi.
So nice. Someone might take it out of context. Oh, pure devotees, sometimes they chant.
Well, yeah, I mean, they keep doing different
They're always
services.
engaged in the service of
They're
the Lord.
always engaged.
And I think that I personally feel like, most of the offenses come because of bad chanting
Magic.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this,
Yeah.
mental, all this concoction and all these things, the anger, the envious nature, the revenge and all these things, only because of bad japa.
When the mind is in fight mode, we may be chanting, but Krishna's not hearing it.
Yeah.
We may be saying Hare Krishna, but we're thinking so many things.
Yeah.
So then we're calling for Radharani. I mean, that's Radharani. Hare is Radharani.
Right.
So we first ask for her mercy. But how can we ask for her mercy when our mind is not reaching to that?
Present.
So it takes a great deal of training.
Yeah.
I remember a class that I listened to, Swayam Bhagavan Swami Maharaj.
Yeah.
And in the class he was discussing 16 rounds.
Mm.
And someone asked why 16? And then he said that Srila Prabhupada recommended that. But also Srila Prabhupada kept saying even 1% effort can reach Krishna. But we start with 16 because we're still looking for that one round to connect us. And so we continuously practice 16, hoping for that one. But that one also comes with service. It also comes with internal work, because Kali Yuga is not easy. It's not easy. It's an iron stage. So
Right.
it does take a great deal of effort to do that.
Yeah, Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Ek Krishna Naam Kare Sarva Paap Nash. So devotees say one name of Krishna destroys all your sins, and another name of Krishna gives you Krishna prem. But we have not even chanted one name of Krishna properly with all our 16 rounds doing for so many years. We have not chanted it properly. So to get to that Shuddha Naam platform, we have to be at the Namabhas. Namabhas is endeavoring to chant nicely. Whenever our mind gets distracted, we pull it back to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. We continue to do that, and Krishna is pleased with that, then he will raise us to the Shuddha Naam platform. That's where pure chanting, all our anarthas will be destroyed.
But even these qualities of, that thinking bad about somebody, that is also maybe when somebody is in Namabhas, that quality may not show up so much. But if somebody is constantly doing Namaprad all the time, that distracted chanting or not with.
Thinking badly about someone is aparada. And Bhattacharya Swami Maharaj mentioned that aparada means without Srimati Radharani's mercy. And you can't approach, she's right there, you can't approach Krishna without Srimati Radharani. You can't approach Lord Chaitanya again without Lord Nityananda's mercy. And we cannot receive Krishna's mercy without the mercy of the Vaishnava. Which is why when we're starting to chant, first we say obeisances to the spiritual master, begging for their mercy, because then they will hear that. They will hear that prayer, they will hear that first Hare, and then help with that Hare sound to, transcend to Krishna, and then he'll hear it. And then we go on to chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, because that is mercy also. But without Srimati Radharani's mercy, even thinking badly about someone, thinking that they're not acting in such a way that we expect them to be, we'll keep trying, but it's not reaching there. It's like when you're trying to, and I think almost everyone has WhatsApp now, right? When you're trying to reach someone and you're in a bad connection area,
Just calling and
oh my
rolling in.
God. that connection is that you be talking seriously and then you say so many things and then you get beep beep, they did not hear it.
Yeah.
But we've been saying so many things, the connection is not there. And so it's not being received. So for that connection to be established, we have to have a strong signal. And that comes from, serving devotees, Vaishnava. That comes from trying so hard to please the spiritual master, begging for the spiritual master's mercy to develop that connection. So when we say Hare, he'll hear it. Because at the end of our time, which can come at any moment, the spiritual master will be the one to receive us, to hold the door open and say, Krishna, please have mercy. And Bhaktivedanta Swami, in one of his final lectures when he was, it's on YouTube actually, the final lecture that he gave, he said, I'm not leaving you alone. I'm going to get, I'll be ready waiting for you. I'm going to make arrangements for you. So that is the spiritual master. He's always with us. But sometimes the connection, again, like making a call without a weak signal. And so then we have to start. We have to be committed to our vows. But that's why Maharaj said that every day we have to rejoin the movement.
Yeah.
Every day we have to rejoin the movement. It doesn't matter if one may say, I was born in Krishna consciousness, I went to Gurukul, I've been to Vrindavan. Every day we have to rejoin the movement, and that starts by offering obeisances. That starts by serving. That starts by begging for the mercy again to chant Hare Krishna, because it's rare. It's very rare to chant Hare Krishna. In so many yugas, the practice was different, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it so easy, and yet that's why we take it for granted. Because one can say, I can chant Hare Krishna anytime. I can do it, when I'm less busy. I can do it when I'm done with work. I can do it when I retire. But the retirement stage is the hardest. Because scientifically, the body, the mind, everything is a struggle. And so we can't chant then. So we have to do it now. But to do it now, still we need that strong connection. But that's all. Hare Krishna. That's what I wanted to share.
Okay. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare